Welcome to the Kindred Spirit Show. I'm your host, Hannah Mary, and I'm so glad to be here with you, my friends, today. I am a homeschool guru and mommy motivator, wife, daughter, sister to 4, and mama to 3. I help women succeed at their most meaningful job, motherhood. I believe you can have joy, clarity, and purpose in your home and schedule, that you have the capacity to raise your children like no one else. Let's make our motherhood a little more meaningful today. Hello friends, I want to let you in on a little chat that I had earlier this week. I was messaging with a close friend, the kind of friend who knows all the outlandish things that you think, but don't actually say to normal people. You know, that friend that you message when you need to just get something off your chest and they aren't going to judge you for the words that come out of your mouth. And that kind of friend. And so we were texting back and forth, and she doesn't live near me right now, so we text a lot. When we talk, we just say stuff, like we just say whatever. And she will often say to me that something that I said really helped her, or it was a really good point. And so when she says that, I try to make a note of it because I think to myself, well, if it helped one person, it might help somebody else. So I try to take note of those things, and I thought I would bring this one to you guys today on the podcast. I have been thinking a lot about the culture that we create in our homes and how we get to set our time and our schedule and the way we handle things so that we are creating a very specific culture for our home, our family, our kids, and how that will affect them and their growing up. So my friend and I, we always talk about kids because we both have them. Most of our conversations are about kids. But we were actually discussing, when this topic came up, a John Crist video. If you don't know who he is, just go watch his things. He's funny. And it was about homeschoolers and quarantine, and it was hilarious. But we kind of landed on a section where he talks about parents ordering fast food and it being a lot of money, and it's funny because most homeschoolers have a lot of kids. I was laughing really hard because it was real life for me as a homeschooled person. My parents legit used to order the party-sized taco pack, like, you know, the big taco pack at Taco Bell. Or they would buy like the bag of burgers, and we were thankful. We were thankful that we got the taco pack or the bag of burgers, and it really, really cracks me up when we go to a restaurant and my kids like want to order, because I just grew up like, I order what we're gonna buy and you're grateful you got food. And not only are you grateful you got food, but you're grateful you got food at a restaurant. Let's be real, because this has cost me way more than making you a casserole at home. Okay, so in our conversation that I was having with my friend, my friend and I were having this conversation, I said, and I will quote it to you, I wrote it down so I can read it specifically for you. I'm so hard-nosed about being quote-unquote fair. I'm like, they're not the same person. They don't have to have the same things, and I'm allowed to give whoever whatever. My husband is usually the one trying to balance the scales with the inclusion, LOL. I believe in the equal opportunity, but not equal reward or equal outcome. So we proceed to have this really long and I think valuable discussion about that. And I want to bring some more of that to you today. Because I hear this from moms a lot, and I see it in our culture. This kind of need for everything to be completely fair all the time, especially when the kids are involved, especially if it could make one child not be so happy with you versus the other child. I think this feeds into some of the helicopter mom stuff that we see a lot in our culture, and I honestly get a lot of flack about this stance from other moms when I do voice it. I voice it often for that reason, because some people just don't want to think about it or change their thought process around this topic of fairness when it comes to their kids. I definitely think that this is something that moms who are home all the time can struggle with, though, because it can be just kind of this way to keep the peace. You don't have to figure out any disputes between the children. However, I feel it teaches some really bad habits and thought patterns. So first, let's start with some places I see this in our culture. This message of fairness, which by the way is like my least favorite word in the entire dictionary. Okay, the first place I see this is, and where it's really obvious to me, is how we give Christmas gifts as of late. I have noticed this trend. I have actually pinned this stuff before on my Pinterest because I was like, oh, it's not a terrible idea, but the more I think about it, the less I like it. This idea of like all the kids have to get equal things. So if you buy one kid a book, you're buying all the kids a book, or you buy them all the same 4 things just to be fair, or you have to spend the same amount on each child. Another place that I see this is when we feed our kids and we give them all the exact same thing. I see this a lot, especially when moms are doing lunches or whatever, where they make the exact same thing so one kid can't complain about what the other kid got. It's okay. It's fine. It's just an area where I see that we are specifically trying to be really quote unquote fair to avoid conflict. It gets bad when we go out of our way and bend over backwards to give our kids the exact same thing instead of, swapping out a vegetable or something. That's just silly. And then the third place that I see this is with technology, which is a whole other podcast, by the way. I will get there eventually. But I see moms and dads giving their kids all the same tech toys so they don't feel left out. So they all get an iPad. They all get the Game Boy. They all get one gaming system that then they all have to share. It's this idea of it must be fair and equal things that you are giving your kids. So let's unpack this a little bit. So like I said in that text, I believe in the fairness of opportunity. What does opportunity mean? Well, I like to find definitions in the dictionary, so I looked it up. Opportunity just means a favorable junction of circumstances or a good chance for advancement or progress. So I believe that doing things like giving my kids the opportunity to earn reward and having a system in place to do that gives them opportunity. That doesn't mean that they're both going to get the same results. They're not going to get the same outcome. My kids often earn very different rewards. It's based on age. It's based on ability. I'm not going to reward my 10-year-old with an ice cream cone for brushing her teeth. Whereas my 5-year-old, if he brushes his teeth all by himself, he may get a prize of some kind. Probably not ice cream because that would defeat the tooth brushing. But anyway.
I'm here to give you the best news of your entire year. The doors to my signature course, How the Heck to Homeschool, just opened. This course is jam-packed with the 4 pillars of what you need to homeschool successfully, how to have a homeschool mindset, the answers to all of your frequently asked questions and objections, how to do it legally and correctly for you in your state, and how to build your homeschool for your family from the ground up. Perfectly aligned with your values, your vision, and the education your children need. The doors are open, but they won't be for long. Head to howthehacktohomeschool.online today to sign up. This course will change your life in the best way possible.
So I believe in giving our kids equal opportunity, but I don't believe in giving them equal outcome. I believe that this kind of fairness doctrine that we have implemented in our society is harmful. It's harmful because what if your child is really good at X and their sibling is really good at Y, but you only reward X? So what does that tell the sibling who's good at Y? So for example, in my house, my kids are provided a favorable junction of circumstances to be part of the definition. I give them ample chances for advancement or progress in our home. So for example, in our house, we have a chore reward system, and my children have the opportunity to do things above and beyond what is on their basic chores to earn more rewards. And when our children have particularly good attitudes about something and they show self-restraint, we often give a reward for that. There are junctions of circumstances and chances for advancement in our home. I don't believe in fairness of reward or outcome. What do I mean by that? Let's say that our 10-year-old vacuums her room, and our kids share a room. We have a smaller living space. They have bunk beds. Okay, so 10-year-old vacuums her room. Great. She's going to get the equivalent of 1 extra point in her reward system for chores because at 10 years old, I expect her to vacuum her room because she lives there. It's listed in the chores on her chart. Her reward is going to be that of a regular chore. Now, if my 5-year-old pulls out the vacuum and vacuums their room, his reward is going to be higher. Why? Because I like him more? No. Because he did a better job? Probably not, guys. Because he went above and beyond what is expected of him, and that's why. The reward fits the action. I think it's wrong to give the same reward for the same action to different children, and I think we harm their will to try when we do that. There are some things that my kids get the same reward for. They get the same reward for picking up their room, for putting their clothes in the laundry basket, for brushing their teeth, because these are all things that they can do and have been doing. They get different rewards for things that I see that they still need to achieve. If I never reward my kids for going above and beyond their last best effort, they will not strive forward. I know this because I've watched them watch TV. If you don't say get off of there and use your brain, they will remain in a stationary and lazy position without food or sleep for who knows how long. It is my job as a parent to teach them to achieve and attain goals in life. They need to know that they are not going to get better pay for lesser work. I also don't believe in fairness of outcome. This is the biggest lie that our culture is believing right now, that all outcomes must be the same for it to be fair and equal. Nope. No. That is not something you can control without massive interference, and the kind of interference most of us would argue would verge on abusive in some way. My 10-year-old and my 5-year-old will become adults at very different times. 5 years between them. That's quite the span of time when you think about it. And I mean, look at everything that has happened in this 1 year. Look at 2020. Who knows what could happen in the span of 5 years between the two? Not only can outside forces like the worlds they enter be hugely different, but they also have differences in areas of interest, personality, gender, personal beliefs, and the list goes on and on. They are two different people, and I think if I expect them to turn out the same, I would be totally crazy. Completely crazy. When I, as a parent, look at my kids, I recognize that they are different. I recognize that I can expect different things from them. I recognize that I need to show them love in different ways. If I'm trying to be quote unquote fair about the rewards or outcomes they have, I could honestly be harming them. I believe being fair is one of the biggest disservices we give to our children because we don't recognize them as individuals. They don't feel that they can rise above a certain level, and they feel the weight of needing to perform or be a certain way. Also, children are master manipulators, in case you haven't noticed, and often will play us and our clear need to be fair to their advantage. Okay, I was a child once. I did this as a kid. If I wanted something, I knew who to send to ask which parent or grandparent. If we were talking to Grandpa, we were sending my sister Megan. If we were talking to my dad, we were sending Megan. Actually, I was sending Megan most of the time. But the point being, I knew that I was not going to get the same response she was. I was smart, just like every other kid on the planet. Kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. They can comprehend a lot of things that we don't think they can. I, for one, want to send the message to my kids that they have something to live up to. I value them as individuals, and they can value others as individuals because they're going to copy our behaviors in small and big ways, and I want them to see that life isn't always fair. But that doesn't mean you give up or walk away or stop trying. No, you put skin in the game, you work for a reward that you want, you strive for the outcome you desire, you praise others for their uniqueness along the way. I think that this is vitally important for parents to grasp a hold of. I think we need to throw out the rule book of fairness. I think it's time that we reassess how we're approaching our children. We are not an institution. Our children are not cogs in a wheel. We are a family. I'm a parent. I'm a human being, just like my kids. And I am not one to be all on the sentimental train over here where we just treat our kids like they know everything. No. That's not where I'm going with this. But what I am saying is we maybe need to let our kids experience things that are not completely pleasant. Help them through challenges, because if we don't teach them now that life can be incredibly unfair, that they have potential to overcome what comes at them and to be bigger and better every time they face adversity, we are doing them a disservice. So, that is my exhortation to you as a parent today. Throw out the fairness rulebook. Create a culture with your kids that helps them to mature and grow in a positive, controlled environment, one that will give you a sigh of relief when you send them out into the world to conquer what is in front of them. I'm Hannah Mary, and I am always rooting for you, my friends.
Thank you for listening today. I hope you found a little encouragement from today's topic. If you like this podcast, make sure to like and subscribe to it. If you absolutely loved this episode, leave a review. I love reading what you guys have to say about the show. I appreciate your support so much. You can find more from me at foreverkindredspirits.com, including the show notes from this episode, free downloads, and online courses. If you want to join the conversation, you can find the Kindred Spirits Show Facebook group in the show notes for this episode. I will see you next week. I'm always rooting for you.